Hello, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear us.
Hello, hello.
Joanna. She said that she would have come. Nice to see you. Okay. So today I'm with Myriam. Yeah, it's like the second time that I have Myriam here at SEOnerd, but it's always a pleasure to have you.
I'm pretty excited.
John, there are so many lovely people today. Thank you so much. So, Miriam, you conquer the heart of everybody, and everybody's like, so
No.
let me. Okay, so apparently you can hear us, you can see us. I would say let's start with the first part. That is not really the reason why you are here, but you still have to listen to it. And it's like the moment that I share the slides and I speak about SEO. So let me explain you a couple of things about SEOnerd. I will share the screen. So let's do it like this. Okay, so this is SEOnerd, as you probably know it. So it's a community. The idea is the community is open to everybody. We want to have discussion. We try to empower SEO. We promote women quite a bit as public speaker also. We are trying also to do more physical events, especially in Switzerland, to promote a bit SEO Nord also in Switzerland. So we keep both online and physical events. So what else? Okay, so your support is important for us. So please like, share. Sharing is caring. I love this. So please share it on social networks if possible, if you have some time, because that help us with the visibility and especially help us with the sponsor. Because like everything is free. Like also Myriam is volunteering. She prepare everything. And so like let's have the sponsor that maybe in the future thing can go differently. So let me introduce Myriam. We were discussing before is like 1 year that we know each other, probably 1 year. I had the opportunity to see Myriam in several talks, and I really think then she rocks. Like when she goes on stage, she rocks. So I'm really, really happy to have her here. There are some really interesting things that she's doing, and one of the things is she will speak about it, but it will be about her course. So I think that normally I like to introduce the speakers, but this time, like as Myriam is doing tons of different things, it would probably be good and she explain you what is her future projects, because she have always future projects. So I will stop sharing, and it's the time to give the space to Myriam.
Off we go. So, the main topic today is BigQuery Bliss for SEOs. So, the way we spoke about it with Sarah and Isaline is that this is a bit of a therapy session for those of us that are feeling FOMO because everyone is talking about how much we hate Google Analytics 4. So then there's quite a few people going in saying, but there's BigQuery, and here you go going, am I missing out? Should I be doing it? Wait, what does it entail? So I'm here to answer these questions and do so in a realistic manner. I'm not here like everyone else going, oh, that's easy, just go learn Python, or wait, what? You don't know SQL yet? No, let's de-stress and dive into it. Okay? So first and foremost, you may not know me. Bonjour, my name is Myriam, and I'm a consultant with 15 plus years of experience in the field. I've been doing SEO for a long time. And as I said, I'm a consultant. You should hire me. I'm just, doing my little promo, and you should too if you are a consultant. And I'm about to launch a BigQuery course with Chris Green, a lovely technical SEO that deals with BigQuery quite a lot, Sarah Crook, a Google Analytics 4 and BigQuery specialist, and Augustin Delporte, my partner in the company that we founded named Pragma. And I think those are the key ingredients you should know about me, except for one tiny little thing. As Sarah said, I always have a bunch of new projects because I have ADHD, and since I've been doing SEO for quite a long time, if I get bored, it's painful. I always have to try new things. That's why we're here today. And what else? Well, Isaline can't make it today. I'm sorry to announce it. I think you've noticed. She's off spending an romantic evening learning how to make coffee. So if you need a special shape in your cappuccino, Isaline may be the friend you need in your life. And now we dive into the key part. Is BigQuery something you should look into? Well, you know the answer. It depends, really. But if you're here, oh, I just realized I can't see you, so blink twice in the chat. If you are forced to use BigQuery at work, because sometimes, for some of us, it feels that way. It feels like that's the only way we can actually get stuff done, or that it's suddenly expected of us. And that's a bit stressful. So before we get stressed, what's so special about it? Why is everyone excited? Why are you here? Well, first let's talk about what's not so special about Google Search Console. If you're tired of being limited by 1,000 rows and that's it, and you have a huge website or a multilingual website with a lot of queries, you're stuck. And if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, that average position is not giving me all the information I need because it's not realistic, BigQuery is here to also help. If you want to be able to compare some data, beyond the 16 months, let's say that you care about trends year over year, BigQuery is here to help. So that's what you should start off with. What do you not like? What are your limitations? What is motivating you to consider BigQuery? If you're considering BigQuery just because your friends are doing it or someone you like on LinkedIn is doing it, that's not the right reason. And when you think about Google Search Console, the normal process we have is open Google Search Console, click, and click some more, export the final thing you want, clean it up, click some more, and then you usually cry because Excel stopped working, because you don't have clean data. I understand. I understand more than you think, actually, because this normally was a little video, so I will just let you know that it scrolls for quite a while. I used Goblin Tools, which is a great tool if you have ADHD. You type in what you want to do and you explain how complicated it seems to you, and it will break it down in little steps. I asked for a step-by-step instruction manual to check cannibalization in Google Search Console. It is complicated, man. We all know this. That's one of the clear examples where with BigQuery, this is easier. There actually is a better way. And the problem before BigQuery was that there was a better way. You hire a developer, and then you use the Google Search Console API, and then you can figure out everything by yourself or pay a consultant to do it. That doesn't sound like much of a better way. It really doesn't. Now, Google made available the bulk export from GSC to BigQuery. So your data can come in like this. And this is something that you can set up following a tutorial. And I can recommend a good one, or I can recommend the article I wrote about it. Okay, so that information is available online. You can do it, I promise you. So you can at least set that up in a few clicks. Done. So once you do that, well, you're like, okay, my data is in there. Well, once again, what's so special about getting the data in? Because you're excited you got it done, but then what can you actually do? Like I said, you can check historical trend analysis. So you go over the 16 months because your data comes in and stays in. It's kind of like a Dropbox for Google Search Console. So if you have, for example, big Black Friday sales year over year, you can actually compare for the past so many years that the data comes in. You can do mashups. You can mash things up with your CRM, with Google Analytics 4, with, I don't know, your log data, for example. So you can actually have a lot more flexibility. If you ever thought to yourself, oh, I wish I could do this or see that, BigQuery is the answer most likely. And you can run complex calculations using SQL. So if you're trying to do some stuff in Google Search Console, you know you have to click until you cry. If you have to do this with Excel, you will murder Excel. But with SQL in BigQuery, it takes a few seconds, and that's it. So that's why it's so special. Okay, great. I know I've been talking about it. I know I've been saying it's nice, but what can you actually do once you're in there? What can you genuinely do? Well, I keep harping on it, but seasonal trend analysis, because, weekends, do they really matter? Hey, what happens to us on Mondays, for example? You can really analyze this. You can also understand how many queries Google keeps from you. So these are called anonymized queries. And if you've been doing SEO for quite a long time, there used to be a time where you could have all of that data offered to you. And around 2011, I think, Google went, oh, no, for security reasons, not really, but we're going to pretend it's the case. They decided to make a lot of data disappear from our grasp. And at least with BigQuery, you can tell how much of that iceberg is underneath the water, what's going on. You can also check the percentage of pages that have 0 clicks. Are you creating content nonstop with, the fancy new LLM you have, and nobody really clicks on it? You can actually talk about that. You can also get the unique query count per page, which is something that you can get with an SEO tool that you pay a few $100s for every month. Well, no, now you have BigQuery. You can also analyze really large volumes of search and click data. So that means you can actually see trends that matter a lot and high opportunity keywords instead of, once again, clicking for your life in Google Search Console and doing it by hand and have it be something that is more like you looking for pearls in the ocean. Now you have more control. And that is important. But once again, please remember, you need to figure out what you need it for, okay? If you're doing this just for fun or just because you think you need it, that's not going to work. We need your brains on it going, I wish I could do this. This is my use case. Oh, actually, I'm tired of having the data run out after 1.5 years. We need more. So be strategic about it. Okay. And with BigQuery, you can run complex queries. So that means, how like SEOs are like, I wish I could do this, but like with this and this and this and this, and all of a sudden it's like a giant stack of things you wish you could do. Yeah, you can do it in BigQuery. You absolutely can. You can create complex SQL queries, and it doesn't require selling your soul to Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel and going, this is going to break, but I'm going to try. No, you can actually get it done. And it gives you so much more time and so much more confidence to go, hey, this is what we have, and we're comfortable telling you right away, this needs to be highlighted. We need to act upon this. But really, if you haven't learned Python by now, are you going to learn Python this year? No, chances are you won't. You'll have that like one friend that's making you feel FOMO about Python, and now you're going, okay, but now I have to learn SQL. And I have had this discussion with a lot of my data SEO friends going, well, yeah, but Python is so much easier to learn. Like, please stop thinking almost like a developer or a computer science graduate. Let's get real here. None of us really want to learn Python to do stuff. None of us really want to learn SQL. We just want the data, okay? We just want to know where to go. We want to be able to analyze our stuff. We're all shocked that, hey, I was promised a future where robots could do this for me. Like, what's going on? They're taking forever. So I'm going to be a bit more patient, and I'm going to look into SQL, okay? So, concretely, SQL, first and foremost, before you freak out, it will help you not put up with Excel anymore. You know that message. We all know that message, okay? You know you're not recovering from that message. And you know that as soon as you close it down, start it over again, it will pop up again, okay? And you will cry. So, concretely, SQL is kind of like brushing your teeth when you don't like going to the dentist. That doesn't mean that you like brushing your teeth. It just means that you really hate the dentist, okay? I hope you understand this analogy, unless you like brushing your teeth and it's like part of your happy routine. I want to know you if that's the case, okay? So let's get back to concrete stuff. SQL is faster because the data is stored instead in BigQuery instead of Excel. So what's happening when you use Excel is that you're basically telling Excel, you are going to be the place where my data resides, but you're also going to be the worker that processes all of this. This is decoupled in BigQuery, so that's why it doesn't crash normally, and that's why you can actually do stuff much faster. I mean, it's so fast that when you see it fill out, you're like, whoa, okay. And then the next question is, what do I do with the data? But we'll come to that later, okay? So concretely, SQL is not necessarily easy to learn, but the logic is, okay? So I see that someone is saying, brushing my teeth is really my night routine that I really enjoy every day. Danny, may I recommend you learn Python and SQL for a challenge because you sound like the right person for this. I'm excited to know what happens. Beyond, oh, I see two other people agree. Okay, I enjoy this. So if you're up for that challenge, you will get to learn a lot with SQL because it really forces you to think not about the code, but how do I structure what I'm asking for? So that means that you really have to understand the data you have available to you and what you want to do with it. And this is the portion that people are willing to pay for. People don't pay SQL specialists that much, but they do pay people who are able to ask the right questions and get the right insights from the data. And that's key. You don't need to be an SQL god to make this work, okay? I hope that everyone is feeling a bit de-stressed about this because yes, I have also used ChatGPT to help me with some SQL queries. I'm not saying it was smarter than me. Sometimes it would come up with stuff where I knew I'm like, However, it helps me think about the way I think. So once again, you don't need to be an SQL god, okay? I promise. However, if you can have a few friends, like let's say Marco Giordano, you know, keep checking his stuff. He will be the person that will let you copy paste your way to glory, okay? So have some smart friends with whom you can exchange, and there will always be someone that can help you tweak your SQL query. And the slide is going a bit slower than I am, but you need to start assembling a BigQuery cookbook to help you get started, okay? So that's a collection of tips, of techniques, of best practices, of queries, and you basically need to create your manual, but the official term for BigQuery is called a cookbook, okay? So you can call it your manual, you can call it your Bible, I don't care, but cookbook is the official terminology. And at the end of the day, this will be your survival manual until it starts making sense to you, okay? So that's very important. Great, I'm talking about it. Of course, I'm going to be building a thing like this too, but for now, like I said, Marco Giordano is your new best friend. Download the stuff, you're going to see his queries, you can test them out, and you can even ask ChatGPT to explain some of them to you, okay? Just in case you're not quite there in the analysis portion. Once again, de-stress. Figure out what you want this for, and I promise you it will start paying off. So, dump it all in a neat dashboard once you're done. Remember, BigQuery is for you. The reason why people would be willing for you to play around in this thing is that you get results. And they don't want to come in BigQuery with you. Nobody wants to come into BigQuery with you. What they want to see is the neat dashboard. So you can set up a routine. So, hey, Danny, I'm looking at you with the nightly routine. Maybe you could have a weekly routine where you create recurring reports and you can use BigQuery for that. So that way you can spend your time doing other stuff while BigQuery is helping you because it all gets dumped into a neat Google Looker Studio. And if you don't have that because your company decided to pay for Tableau, you can use Tableau as well. The end game is to have a data visualization tool that will update in real time. And that is very, very cool. So that means that you can use it with Google Search Console data, log data, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, know that you have options to communicate your insights in a way that makes sense to people who don't live in BigQuery, okay? People who don't really care about Google Search Console data can finally have a good story to sign off on the budget. And yeah, but really, how hard is SQL? Like, I didn't answer that question. The truth is, it's still not easy for us as SEOs, okay? We're not comfortable with that. This is not HTML. This is not something that you can like ask SEMrush to dump a report for you and help you figure out, okay? There are no hints here, huh? So, how do you get started? Well, first of all, you don't need to tell anyone you're getting started. You can click on this link and start playing a game. So, Robin Lord is an amazing SEO, but he's also an amazing data wrangler. And I got to know him because I played one of his games that was the first regular expression slasher game. And if that doesn't give you a little bit of stress, but also make you better at regular expressions, I don't know what will. So his next endeavor when it comes to game making was Lost at SQL. Okay. And when it comes to SQL, like, I'm sorry, I'm very French. I will always say SQL. Okay. But we can also call it SQL. This game is great because it forces you to have some logic. It forces you to think about thinking about your queries. And then it will make you very, very angry because it will keep rejecting whatever you write until you figure out what you did wrong in the console and start getting better at it. You don't have to tell everyone. You can have fun, pilot the submarine, save the crew, and then you can get started with BigQuery, okay? So please, once again, de-stress. You can get started with this, and if you have issues with the game, please let me know. We can both complain about it because yes, even I had a few moments where I was like, ah! And I still made it through and saved everyone, okay? So we can talk about it. We can bond over it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. It's a different skill set. You are opening a brand new world, but it's a world that you can pivot into and pivot out of. Okay. So this means that you can use these skills not just with SEO data. Like I said, it can be CRM, it can be Google Analytics 4. So what's great about this is that you're opening brand new doors to the way you do what you do, or a brand new door to a new career if you want. And you have to learn and you have to make mistakes. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I have to explain why I say this. You do not have a sandbox in BigQuery for Google Search Console data. What does this mean? It means that if you want to play around with it with, let's say, GA4 data, you have a sandbox that is free where you can try a few things. When it comes to Google Search Console, you do have to put in the credit card, which means that you, on top of learning SQL, need to be weary of what am I doing here? How much is that going to cost me? And usually the costs are really, really low. However, if you're one of those chaotic geniuses that can write queries that will cost a lot of money, I can't predict that, okay? I can help you avoid that, but be wary. You look at the top right. If the numbers up at the top on the right side look really, really high, maybe don't do that, okay? And we have a few other pieces of advice to avoid that. But at the end of the day, you have to learn and make some mistakes. You have to get on board with it. And you will be really, really frustrated by the order of your query because I'm a messy person. ADHD brain. I'm like, I want this, I want that, I want that. And I kind of expect the machine to return it, and the machine is like, no. I'm like, but why? It's like, you didn't order it properly. You have to be more logical. I'm like, but I am logical. And then once I figure out the order of the query, I'm like, okay, you forced me to clean my bedroom. It's done. Now can you give me the data? So if you're like me, you will be frustrated at that point, okay? But you will keep learning new things, and this type of thinking will help you in the other stuff you do when it comes to SEO. So just like technical SEO though, it pays off to take the time to learn it. I should know I'm a technical SEO. I wasn't always a technical SEO. Developing that skill set meant that people took me more seriously, and it enabled me to explain it in a way where people could get on board and go, oh, I see the problem. We can fix this. So it's the same when it comes to BigQuery. You will be able to find much more insights, and insights that make sense to business people as well, to get them to say yes to the budget you require. Okay? So is it worth it? Is it worth the pain? Truly. If you have a huge website, the answer is yes. Oh my goodness. All my e-commerce people here. Yes. Oh, but are you working for a brand that is like a multinational taking over the world? Yes. Are you with a news organization? Yes. If your website is huge, this is great. You waste a lot less time, and you can actually, instead of looking for the needle in the haystack, you can look at the haystack and call the needle up to you. Okay. You have a magnet to find it. That's great. If you hate Google Analytics 4, yes, yes, yes. But let me explain why. It's because you have reached that level of frustration in life where you're like, I am done with you, Google Analytics 4. I am going to transcend you, and I'm going to be better. Because the truth is, Google Analytics 4 is not a tool for beginners. So if you're an SEO and you enjoy like mashing a few buttons and finding the right report, GA4 is not for you. Okay? But it's kind of like a half-baked, a mi-cuit of chocolate cake here. It's not doing great. It's like the intermediate thing where you're like, well, if I'm going to invest that much time figuring out my explorations, at least go faster and remove the limitations. Let me go to BigQuery. I can do that. If I'm going to feel pain, may as well feel some pleasure at the end instead of being stuck in limbo. So I feel you. It's one of the reasons why I got started with BigQuery. I'm like, I am so done with GA4. I'm so done. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And this is super cool. If you want to query CRM data or, like Google Merchant Center data that has a lot of crunchy information SEOs would love, we can talk about that on LinkedIn later. Or, GA4 and GSC mashup. If you're like, I wish I could just like and have the info. Yes. If you ever have that like mental moment of going mashup, yes, it's for you. Okay. So that's very important, because if you're tired of this, you'll get it done there. If you want a new differentiating skill set, so you're stressed because, we're all stressed. Search generative experience, layoffs, everyone entering the field that's a bit younger than us. Oh yeah. If you want to invest in future-proofing your skills by adding something else to your stack, yes, the answer is yes. And it's also great for log analysis. So if you're a technical SEO, you can also find stuff. If you're a content-driven SEO, it also works for you. If you are a conversion genius, it's for you. And I see that there's a comment like, practice SQL with some sample data set. Yes, I agree. Like, listen to Nabil in the chat, please and thank you. I can't get into it during this session, but I promise this is the right way to go. But how do you convince people in your company to get started? How do you convince them to actually let you get started? Here's the sneaky portion. You explain that you need to set it up because you have data expiration issues in GA4 and in Google Search Console. You're like, the data goes poof. I need the data. You need the data. Please, can we open BigQuery and just pay a few cents a month to have the data be accumulated? That way, by the time you level up, you'll have data to play with. You explain that the costs are super low. Okay, cool. So that way, they're not stressed out, but you go, if we don't do it, the data is gone. It's not retroactive. So you get them on board to open that account. And then you get started with small queries, like small stuff. Check out Marco's recommendations. And you start building up by saying, hey, I can replace this thing that we do that takes this much time every month by doing it in BigQuery once and setting up a recurring report. So little by little, you start building up the use case, okay? And then you gain in confidence, and all of a sudden, what do you mean? Of course we've been using BigQuery forever. I mean, come on now. And last but not least, how do I convince you to get started? Well, I publish articles in Search Engine Journal about the topic, and I'm going through it like beginner stuff and we level up. I'm not going to go, oh, you don't know how to practice SQL? No. Like I said, I want you to be comfortable copy pasting your way to glory and learning little bit by little bit until it starts making sense to you. Okay. I will share some really weird things I find about the platform going, oh, I didn't know this. But you can learn too. And like I said, I'm launching an official training session soon. The end game, once again, is not to make you a SQL god. I don't care about that. I want you to feel comfortable overcoming all your data frustrations thanks to BigQuery. That's it. Thank you very much for your time, Sarah. I pass it back to you.
First of all, thank you so much. I think that it was great. I just would like to ask you if it is possible to share your blog post, and you were saying that you wrote about how to set up.
Yes,
I was
absolutely.
like, I saw a message coming. I was like, you are so fast and you already posted. Okay, no.
Okay. Just for the record, I have a new article that is waiting for editing, moderation, etc. that will come out soon as well. So if anybody has feedback going, great, but could you talk about this? Send me a message because I absolutely will try to include it in my articles.
Perfect. And now there are a couple of things then I would like to say before starting the question session. First of all, you will have a question session. So if you have any question, write it in the chat so then we can say it, so then Myriam can answer to the questions. Second thing, I wrote to Marco because I was like, hey, Marco, she's speaking about you and your job and everything. And he was like, say hi to Myriam and say hi to everybody. So, okay, we also have the hi from Marco done. And last but not least, I was so excited to have you that I forgot to thank the sponsor. So before your how to screw it up. So before the Q&A session, I just would like to thank the sponsor, which are Leap, Working SEO, and Pilea. Thank you so much.
Wait. I'm actually curious because, like I come to Switzerland often, but I don't really know these companies. So can you tell me in one sentence, who is Leap, what do they do, and what's so great?
So Leap is a web and mobile development agency. I learned it by heart. So it's the company that I work for, by the way. And Working SEO, it's like Isaline. So they are the two companies of Isaline that are also sponsoring SEOnerd. And with these two companies, like Working SEO is a platform where you could find job before. Now it's like more a podcast. I don't know if you ever heard the podcast of Working SEO, but like where people share their experience. And Pilea is a company. So yeah, it is everything about the sponsor, and there we can also speak about you and your company because we have it there. So if you want to contact Myriam, if you want to contact Myriam, obviously you have the other information. Can they contact you also on LinkedIn or prefer Twitter?
Yes, please. Oh, I used to love Twitter, but I'm not there as much as I should be because of very heavy reasons tied to the platform, but I'm on LinkedIn. And the sad part about my company is that we had 5 minutes to come up with a name before they closed for the day in the office to register it. And they just denied our name. So we had to come up with something. And I went, we're very pragmatic. Let's cut it in half. Nobody can ever pronounce my company name. Nobody can ever write it. So not so pragmatic at the end of the day. But it is what it is.
But it's pragmatic.
Yes.
So anyway, if you have any question, I've seen that she shared in the chat like the article. And now if anybody have any question, because I know that it was like an important topic or any experience to share that you want to share with Myriam, it's really the time to do it now. I mean,
I actually want to know from the people in the chat, like, after me talking about this in a realistic manner, how many of you actually want to learn this, and how many of you want to learn enough to be able to basically work with a data scientist and go, can you get the data for me? Because both require you understanding the logic behind it, but one implies you learning how to do it, the other one implies knowing enough to be dangerous, as we say.
So here is the time. If not, I can answer in the meantime.
Okay, so
I will answer in the meantime. Like, for me, I would like to learn it now. Like, I was always like, yeah, I asked to the other one to do it, and now I'm like, I want to do it. So the motivation is there.
You know what's really cool about it is that once you start digging into it, you learn, because what we don't know, because, you know, like, if you don't get started with BigQuery, you don't realize this. It's that the tables that you have access to, they are the stuff that we use in Google Search Console all the time, but never really questioned. Like, we don't really dig into how is an impression counted? How is the average position counted? What's going on truly? Like, what if, you know, you show up, for example, your website is shown twice on the SERPs because, let's say, featured snippet and a result. Is that one impression? Is that two? That's the type of stuff that you'll learn as well. And the more you dig into it, the more you can answer that one question every single SEO that has used Looker Studio has, which is, oh, my template doesn't work. What did I do wrong? Every time somebody writes me, I'm like, did you put in the URL impression instead of the site impression? And they're like, oh yeah, that was the problem. Well, you will figure out the difference between the two tables real quick. Those will be like the two first things you'll look into. I see we have a few questions too. Like, okay, so I didn't know anything about it before today, and now I really want to use it. So. Danny, you got it right. So there's two things. Number one, the first step is getting the data in there. You don't even need to stress about using it. Just hoard it like a dragon. Get the data in there. And then you can slowly start playing with it. And at first, when you start playing with it, it's kind of like when you learn to bicycle. You're so focused on not falling down that you look at the results and you're like, I don't know what's good. It doesn't feel exciting. It's just stress, a lot of stress. And then you get like better, it's second nature, and you're like, okay, I can go and query this now. Or you can go, I can query this a better way and save even more money or be even faster. So you'll have different levels of having fun with this thing, okay? And then I'd like to learn now. I made it a lot less scary, Ella. I agree, but that doesn't mean it's going to be painless, okay? Like, you're going to have to buckle down. Yes.
Ella is still asking you when it will be live, your course.
Oh, so if you're interested, I should have set this up, but I didn't have time, sadly, you know, marketers. Ugh. But get in touch with me via LinkedIn. The first official training is actually going to be given at Brighton SEO in April. And there's a workshop for this. You can sign up for it. But as soon as we do this one, there will be the official launch of the course. So we have our first cohort there, and then it launches. So expect it maybe, you know, like in 3 months or something like this. In the meantime, if you want to learn a few things, contact me, ask me questions, because I will be writing some articles and I will be doing some tutorials.
So I have a question. The course is online and everybody can go to his own pace, so it will be online live course.
So there's actually a few versions. If you have a company and then they can pay for your entire team to be trained, one of us will be coming to your company to actually do a real like full day workshop. Okay, so that's one thing. The second element is that it will be online with concrete examples. Like there's 4 of us, there's a reason. We all have our different problems to solve, right? So the end game is showing you enough so you feel comfortable using it, but also sharing all the queries that we use as consultants to, be worth the money people pay us. So it will be tackling specific problems, and we will have most likely these sessions that we announce in advance, where like, we're going to be tackling this one problem because we got feedback from the students. Let's look at it. So it really will be something that is meant for people to be able to go back to. It's not a course that you do once and you're done. It's like you go back there, you copy paste a few things. You're like, oh, I forgot this. Yes, let me get it done. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely.
So
you also have an Abel question. Do you know any way to refine SQL query without processing cost on BigQuery?
So yes, and I'm not going to be answering that today, but Nabil, I'm going to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I love, love, love working with Sarah Crook on this course, because that is her specialty. That is literally her specialty. Okay?
Like, will that be shared on LinkedIn?
It will be a bit more complicated. Like we need to figure it out. But there's a few things I'm sure you know, but like working on a subset on a sample is also super important. But there's also the question of, you write your query and you're like, this is going to be taking a lot of processing power. How about I streamline the thinking and, reduce the cost? So there's multiple ways to be cost efficient. So yes, please stay tuned. Please get in touch with me because I love that question. And okay, so I see Ella asked the question, when is it going to be available? So please, once again, that's why I have the little QR code. Follow me because I will be sharing all of this stuff. I'm waiting for Brighton to happen, and after that, I'm unleashing everything. And I want to share a report for GSC on Looker. Anyone can use it and me be helpful. Can I share? Please, I don't know if your name, I'm pronouncing it right. So Imad, please, 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 we need more people like you. Like, please and thank you. Yes, share it. And so I see some people will be in Brighton. Do not hesitate to check out the workshop. And I'm sorry, but I promise you this is recorded and you will be able to enjoy.
I wanted to say exactly that. No problem, is recorded anyway. I know that I always take some time to put the video online, but it will happen. I will contact you as soon as it's done.
And just for the record, I checked Imad's work just right now, and beyond the fact that it's really well put together, the colors that are used are my jam. It's super well explained. Like, it's top notch.
So I think then there we are not having any more really questions. You still have your last chance to ask a question. If not, we will let Myriam free. We will set her free to go and do whatever thing she's doing in whatever country you are at the moment. So where are you located?
By the beach. I'm currently by the beach. It's 21 degrees Celsius. I am loving life.
I'm so jealous. Don't even say that to me. I'm like,
no, okay. Don't feel that way. I'll be in London and Paris soon. I will feel the cold very soon. So
yeah. And just like that, I feel sad for you now. Anyway, on a serious note, thank you so much. So I think that we have no more questions. But as you can see there, Myriam let her. She let her data, so you can her contact, so you can contact her. She's also on LinkedIn. If you are no more using Twitter, because I know that there are a lot of people no more using Twitter, do not hesitate to contact her on LinkedIn. I'm saying that for you. Is that correct? Can they contact you on LinkedIn?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye to everybody. Thank you so much for joining, because I know it's late or it's too early, depending on where are you located. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for Myriam for joining. And if possible, see you next month with Azim. I don't know why I had the block like. Okay, it's Azim, then he's coming next month. Okay. See you, and big kiss to everybody. Thank you again for coming, Myriam. Ciao, ciao.
Merci. Bye.
Salut, ciao.